Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and it's time for a positive spin. Today we're going to be talking about Embrace of the Vampire. Now, my history with this film is pretty extensive, actually. The only thing is, I've never seen it. Now, I remember this coming out, and I remember seeing it on the VHS walls under thriller instead of horror. I mean, it is about vampires, so I would imagine it would be a horror movie since it's about vampires, but you know, it was on the thriller wall, and opposite, of course, subspecies. And this does have a little bit in common with subspecies. And what I mean by that is the romance part of the vampire lore. So I wanted to rent it, I never did. I wanted to buy it, and yet I never did, even when the place was going out of business. So later, I ended up finding this on DVD and I bought it. Now, I've had this in my collection for I don't know how many years. It's been a lot. Probably 20. And I have never watched this film. I got it with the intention of watching it, but as most people know about me, I'm not a huge vampire fan. So when Joe and I were watching the Poison Ivy movies, of course, Poison Ivy 2 has Alyssa Milano in it, and of course, Alyssa Milano nudity, and I had seen that before. We both kind of talked, and he suggested Embrace of the Vampire, doing it for a positive spin, or a controversial view. Mostly a positive spin, because this actually gets a 4.4 on IMDb. Now, I'll definitely say the movie is better than a 4.4, but once again, I am not a huge fan of vampire films. I like what I like, but most of them are just meh. So, of course, I got this for one reason, more or less, and that is I had heard a lot about this being a erotic thriller or an erotic horror movie, and I figured Alyssa Milano was again shedding her clothes. Although I always thought she was a little too high class for that because I didn't know her character very well. Um, but apparently I was wrong because there is a ton of nudity in this film and a lot by Alyssa Milano. So, um, even though I've already put a positive spin on it, let's put a positive spin on Embrace of the Vampire. Now, growing up watching Who's the Boss, I've kind of always had a bit of a crush on Alyssa Milano. I thought she was really cute. We are around, well, she's younger than I am. Um, Not much, but, younger. And I always thought she was really pretty. So, getting this film and Poison Ivy too, because I just think she's pretty. I'll pretty much watch anything with her in it, even though oddly enough, I've never watched Charmed. I mean, I've seen episodes, but yeah. But of course, the movies um, offer something more. Yeah. So let me get into the not so obvious positives. I'll say it like that. You have your college campus, which I think is a really cool setting for a horror movie. Being a slasher fan, having a college campus or a high school or some kind of place like that, I think is a huge advantage for a setting. Um, I like the way the college is. I like the roommates and the. This has a ton of eye candy, by the way. Jordan Ladd and the girl from The Craft. I can't think of her name right now, to be honest. I recognized her right away. So we have our eye candy. We have our college campus sort of uh, setting. It's also a typical type of romantic type of vampire movie where Alyssa Milano looks like his first love and or his only love, and before he was turned into a vampire, he wants to um, turn her into a vampire so she can be with him forever, even though it's not really the same person. Yeah, it's a vampire thing, I guess. I don't know. So the colors are pretty bright. It's got that filming style of the 90s, which I like. It brings back a lot of nostalgia, a lot of memories. Of course, we have the 90s clothes, the 90s hair, which is a positive because I like movies that can take me back to a certain place in time. Let's talk about the real positives now. The positives that, because Joe and I are perverts, I guess, we're going to talk about this. So you have, of course, a lot of Alyssa Milano nudity. Um, that's a given because she is gorgeous. You have Jordan Ladd, who is Cheryl Ladd's daughter. She is not nude in this, however, she is eye candy and she is absolutely gorgeous. You have tons of other nudity, cameos, this, that, and the other thing, starting with the very beginning with the women who turn the vampire into the vampire. You know, we're talking breast implants, everything. So the eye candy is everywhere. And there is a plethora of nudity. So that's the main um, positive from this film. But all in all, I think the story is good. The film is well made, and I really don't understand the 4.4 score because I think a lot of people who are vampire fans are going to really enjoy this film, regardless of whether it has nudity or not. Um, yeah, this is one that I definitely will recommend. If you don't like nudity, I would say, I guess, stay away from this. But I think this is a very romantic sort of film, or a romanticized sort of film about vampires. And that seems to be what sells. So check this one out, or don't. But don't forget to check out Joe's positive spin for Embrace of the Vampire. Remember, guys, physical media matters. And until next time, peace.